Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to a new video. Today we are going to work on this new code word problems called length parameter. So the task we are going to do is to write a function to calculate the total parameter of all the islands given an array of strings. Each piece of land will be marked with X, while the water fields are represented as 0. So consider each tile to be a perfect 1 times 1 piece of land. Let's try to visualize this using paint. So let's say we have an island here represented by a square. So the parameter of this island would be 4, right? Because this is 1, 1, 1, and 1. Let's say we have another island that immediately under this island. The parameter of this one would be 1, 1, and 1 here. So because they are next to each other, this side would not be included in the calculation of the parameter of this island. So this island would have the parameter of 1 plus 1, so would be 6 instead of 7 or 8, right? Because they are next to each other, so this side would not be calculated. If they are standing like separately, we would have the total parameter would be 8. We can use the same logic for the larger piece here. So for this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 island next to each other. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So each island would have 4 parameter, 4, 4, and 4 here. And the total of this island, if they were to be separated, would be 16. However, since they are next to each other, these sides are not just cancel out, right? So they would have only 13. 1, 2, 3. So 16 minus 3 would equal to 13. And is that correct? So if we were to look at it as one piece, so we use this side 1 plus 1, 1, 1 here. So we will be 4 on this side, the same 4 on this side, and then 1 here and 1 here. So it would actually come out to be 10. So the total parameters would be 10. So what did we do wrong here? So for each of these island, 1 would be 3 here minus 1. This one also minus 1. Oh, this island in the middle right here would have to minus 2. So the first island would be 4 minus 1. The second island, because they are next to 2 islands, so it would have to be 4 minus would have to be 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 because the second island here are next to 2 island. Same one with this, minus 2. And this one only next to 1 island, so it'll only be 1. So the total would come out to 16 minus 6, not 3. So it will come out to equal to 10, you know. So the logic we are going to code is we will calculate, whenever we see an x, the parameter of one individual island to be 4. But if that island is next to how many other island, let's say if it's next to one island, we will subtract 1 from the parameter. If it's next to 2, and then we subtract 3. If 3. If it's next to 3 island, we will subtract 3 from the parameter. And if it's next to 4 islands, we will subtract 4. Basically, it would contribute nothing to the total shape of the entire island. So let's start coding. The function we have here is called len parameter, and it takes in an array of lists. So we will call the total parameter to be equal to 0. This is the variable that we will add for each island. We will add the parameter of that island to, and then we'll increment this variable as we go along. Let's say we have a list like this as an example to visualize easier as we go along. So our task is to loop through each element of this list for I in less range of length of array. So it will loop through each string, and in each string we will try to find the island, the x, and we say for j in range of length I, length of the string, if that element I and j is equal to x, then we can increment this variable by 4. So the first step we do is just looping through each string to find the x. Then if we encounter the x, then we will just increment the parameter, and of course the return would have to be total parameters at the end, but that is at the end of the function, and we can return that. But for now we need to code how we subtract the parameter if the island is next to each other. So for example, this x here and this x here are next to each other, and we need to subtract it out. So let's say for if that island I and j minus 1, so j minus 1 would be the left. We need to check the left island of this of the island that we found, the left position. So we need to check if j is greater than 0 and if this position I and j minus 1 is equal to x, then we need to subtract from total parameter 1. So let's say for this x here, if the left island right next to it is an x, and we indicate that by saying array of I and j minus 1, then we will subtract 1, right? Because that's what we say here. So basically this is an island and we're checking the left. If there's another x here, then we will subtract this side from the total parameter. Also, we can check the right for the right for the right island. So if I of j plus 1, so since j plus 1 cannot, since we're checking the j plus 1, so j cannot be greater than length of the string, because that would be, we will get an index error. J has to be less than length of the string minus 1, right? Because so let's say this string has a length of 5, so length of 5 minus 1 would be 4. So j has to be less than 4, because if j is equal to 4, which means j is the last element in the string, then j plus 1 would be out of index, so we would get an index error. So j has to be less than the length of the array minus 1. This, yep, this has to be like this. And so if this equal to x, we also do the same thing, right? Because so let's say this is the island that we checked. If the next element in the list is also an x, then we also subtract this out of the total parameter. So now we need to check the above and below in the list. So let's say we have an island here and an island here. If they're next to each other, we need to subtract this out, right? So same thing, but we have to, but for this if condition, we use we have to change the I position. So if I is greater than 0 and position of I minus 1 for j is equal to x, then we also do this. And then also same here as well. So I just want to copy that. So I has to be I plus 1, and this is j. I cannot be the last string, so we would need to use length of array here. I cannot be so for this example in this list, I cannot be 4, because 4 plus 1 would make this list out of like index error. So I cannot be length of -1. So I has at the maximum I can only be equal to 3, right? Because I is less than 4. So at the maximum I can only be equal to 3. So if I is at this position here, then we can check for the immediately below island. At this point we can return the total parameter for our function. So let's do a test for len parameter of L. We get 24. Okay. So let's submit this on codewars and see what we have. So we have to return like this total len parameter. So we can use an f string here. Let's say total len parameter like that, and then okay, so this worked good enough for me. I think all the tests pass. So let me know if you agree with this solution, and if you have a better solution, let me know in the comment. Thank you for watching.